Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about something that's very interesting, which it's called, no, let me title this video, The Ketogenic Diet Gives You Diabetes, because that'll grab your attention, right? It's not a sexy subject, but it's something that we need to talk about. So basically how I came up with this idea was a guy on my Facebook wall posted the ketogenic diet gave me diabetes. There was no backstory, there was nothing, but because I've been around the block a few times and I've coached a lot of people, and I've learned from you guys, that would probably be him referring to physiological insulin resistance. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, right now. So basically, and yeah, this is the business. And amazeballs, and this is my body, and it's so funny because people will go on my videos and they're like, they cannot stand that I do this. But you guys have to remember, I'm 48 with a busted knee. So if you learn all the concepts about not just the ketogenic diet, but how the body works, then you can learn how to be healthy. Because being healthy, this is the affectation of being healthy. So let's get right on to it, this physiological insulin resistance thing. A lot of people will go do keto and they feel like shite, they feel awful, they feel terrible, and they go to the doctor and the doctor's like, oh, what's going on? They could be, well, before the things that they, find out that they have like low blood pressure and low electrolytes and all this kind of stuff, the doctor's like, what are you doing? And they say, well, I'm on the ketogenic diet. And they're like, oh my God, that's dangerous. Get off of that. And so they go and start doing tests and they find out, like I said, people tend to be low in electrolytes. They are dehydrated, and some of them have this crazy elevated blood glucose. And then the doctors are like, okay, you're eating 8 total carbs a day, and your blood sugar is 105 or 115 milligrams per deciliter. Sometimes it's 120, or in millimolars, it would be a 5.2 or a 5.6 millimolar, and you're not eating carbs. How can you have such elevated blood glucose? So, this is the whole problem with the ketogenic diet. It hasn't been long enough to do long-term studies. The studies have been so short-term based that when people go and find the studies, they have all this fear, this hype and this fear going around it because people in the first application of it, or when they first try keto, are often doing it wrong, and they're often going through the keto flu. But more specifically, the whole ketogenic diet gave me diabetes comes from people who already have pancreatic issues. Yes, they already have insulin and blood glucose issues. This is what a lot of people are going to get a physical. They don't necessarily test certain things if you don't have all of the obvious markers for diabetes. So a person who I've had a few guys that I've coached who have muscles, they look fit as hell, they eat in a healthy manner, but yet their blood glucose is so high when they go on keto once they get their glucometer. So if you don't have all of the predetermining markers or diabetes in your family, a general practitioner may not go and test your A1C to find out where your blood glucose is at, or your fasted blood glucose. But a lot of you guys, so here's the thing. I really want to get this very clear. We live in a modern time that our bodies are not conducive to. Our bodies do not know that we're living in the modern time, so every single thing that we experience in life is affecting our DNA. So we eat carbohydrates. Now that's the big argument. Are we designed to eat carbs because we have amylase in the saliva, or are we meant to be ketone machine makers? Well, guess what? We're both. But as a hunter-gatherer society, we didn't have all the processed carbohydrates. So we don't have the ability to clear out more than a teaspoon or 5 grams of carbs all day long, every day, all day long, every day. Here's the dichotomy. You eat 200 carbs a day and are 250, and if you don't eat the 250, you feel terrible. You develop hypoglycemia. You develop a bit of a insulin resistance because the pancreas has to overwork. Every time that you eat carbs over 5 grams, 1 teaspoon in one feeding, your body has to do calculations, or your pancreas, to match that with insulin. But your pancreas cannot do the math. Have I said this before? Yes. Because I checked today, it was like 800 and something videos. It's hard to do videos every day and not regurgitate some of the same information, but from a new spin. All right, so what's the deal? You're eating 250 carbs, 200, 250. Let's say, make it simple, 200 to 300 grams of carbohydrates a day. But your body can only handle about 5 grams. So really, in essence, your body can hold, if you're doing 3 solid meals, it can handle about 15 carbs a day in grams of glucose in your bloodstream. After that, your body has to start over-secreting insulin. Insulin, get it out of the blood, because when you're having more than 5 grams, it's toxic to cells. It does a thing called glycation. In fact, over time, it develops into glycation end products. This is a problem because this is what shortens your DNA, pops the telomeres off your DNA chain, and makes your cells begin to age and die. That's what aging is and disease. So with that said, we do have the ability to eat carbohydrates and to clear it out, but over time the mechanisms like your pancreas function to clear it out, or your glucagon insulin regulation begins to downregulate. That's some serious stuff. So now when you eat your sandwich or your yogurt or your juice or your high glycemic food, your body has to dump insulin into the bloodstream to get it out. Or your body needs to go and put it in as muscle glycogen or stored liver glucose to either feed your fledgling brain or get into the Krebs cycle for all cellular function, because it needs energy. Energy, energy, energy. Yes, that's what your body needs all day, every day, even when you sleep. So the problem is your brain becomes addicted to this fuel source. Therefore, it doesn't know how to use the ketones. Everybody has the ability to use ketones, to make ketones and to use them. But everybody has the ability to make ketones, but the body doesn't know how to, because we become adrenaline junkies. Now this can manifest in all different kind of ways, right? It can manifest in shopping addictions and gambling addictions and jumping out of airplanes and sex addiction and, obsessing on the TV or computer or video games or freaking skateboarding. When I was skateboarding back in the day, and we were obsessed about skateboarding. These are adrenaline junkies, or people who have to get through work or kids or night shift to survive. If your body's not using ketones, it's going to need that glucose. And so your body's going to have to go into gluconeogenesis to make glucose from amino acids coming from anywhere in the body. Which we see that in society, because there's not that many people who are able to develop the physicality and the inner health that their mind's eye has a vision on. Because we all want to feel like we've got energy. We all want to feel like we're not breaking apart and can sleep well. And we want to feel hormonally balanced, but most people are not. So today on my Facebook, I did a post about, I knew it was a boring subject. It was about inflammation. But inflammation has everything to do with fat loss, not weight loss. Because weight loss is catabolic. And there's a difference between the two. Weight loss and fat loss. Not the same. I think I'm going to do a video about that. Next. Yes. Okay. So, this guy developed diabetes, but he didn't. He already was having pancreatic issues before. Regulating your blood sugar is, over time, everything we do is not conducive to regulating our blood sugar. It's staying up late, it's having interrupted sleep, it's caffeine, it's drugs, pharmaceuticals, your liver and your pancreas. Let's see here. Your liver and your pancreas not detoxifying, having a gene mutation, having inflammation, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's, inflammation of the bowels, IBS. There's a lot of different things that your body has to deal with, and then at the exact same time, because this is a whole machine here, it has to regulate your energy levels. So it's the adrenal glands that pump out the adrenaline, and that's why I said adrenal junkies, adrenaline junkies, which is followed by cortisol and then begins to break things down into glucose so we can move, right? And when that doesn't work, that's when the caffeine comes into play to get you through your day. Because often I hear people say, well, I don't drink much coffee or caffeinated drinks. I just do it when I'm studying and have to stay up late. And I'm like, I know that sounds right, but that's not normal, people, that you would have to refer to that instead of your own homeostatic balance in your body. So with that said, because I didn't speak to this young guy, I can only assume by experience that the modern society is not conducive to our body's blood sugar regulation. As a hunter-gatherer, we would relax a lot. We would expend energy, and if we were starving, we would conserve energy. So expend and conserve. And we'd know exactly when to conserve, but we never conserve in the modern society. We have to go, 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 go. And we need the mental sharpness and the cutie to be able to, to work with machines, to do whatever you need to do, to be an athlete, to be able to stay on point, fleek, correct. So with that said, your pancreas is overworked, and everybody's is. And because we drink water from the tap and shower, where the fluoride, the chlorine's getting into our bloodstream, our liver, and even if you try to be as clean as possible, your liver and your kidneys still have to overwork. This can create stress on the adrenals to keep you going, because it has to deal with the detox, and it has to deal with inflammation, and it has to deal with the crappy sleep that most people have, where they can't even repair the cells of the body. So the adrenals keep cranking and cranking, cranking. This is affecting the way that your body has to constantly spurt out freaking insulin. So it's like, over here, insulin, 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 and then the pancreas starts to wear down. So now that blood sugar's cranking on up, and your pancreas doesn't know how, or the insulin doesn't know how to necessarily clear that rising and spiking blood glucose out of the system, which is glycating, which is damaging to the cells. So you have poor insulin function. A lot of people do. They don't even realize that they do. They eat a high carbohydrate meal and their blood sugar spikes up real friggin' high. And then the pancreas over-secretes insulin into the bloodstream, and then the insulin is not able to do the job as it once did, because if you over-screw the body will screw you. So your blood sugar keeps rising, and so you secrete more insulin, and then your blood sugar crashes, and then you need glucagon to be released. So you have this opposition of glucagon and insulin. Those two things don't work anymore. So now the adrenal glands get freaking crank out again, more adrenaline and more gluconeogenesis to get some kind of blood glucose back up to the brain. That's the whole damn stupid cycle. This is the reason why I say the same thing in every video about the adrenals, the thyroid, the gut, the reproductive hormones, your immune function, and sleep and all this kind of stuff. So, and if you over-exercise and you exercise at night and you're not on point with your circadian rhythm, the body can't repair. That means more adrenal crank out. Adrenal, 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 screwing with your pancreas. It's insulin, get the sugar out of the blood. Now we need more glucose because your brain is like, well, I'm not resting, so we need to keep going. Come on, let's go, let's go. All right. My video is going to end soon, so it looks like I might have to do a part 2. But basically, when you go on a ketogenic diet and you're metabolically screwed up, your blood sugar is going to crank even higher. And the body's like, hello, where's the sugar? Because you can't get that glycogen back in just through gluconeogenesis. That's why. Okay, peace out.